How do you interview all your interviewees, and Dan Campbell's the guy that you say, hey, it's him? Like, nobody would have given Dan Campbell a job based off his measurables.
Yahoo has the Lions selecting third, Bryce Young.
He's the guy that gets it done. When they win, it's because of him every time. I think he is the #1 quarterback in this draft. Sheila Hamm, I know she's no longer Sheila Hamm forward, trying to distance herself from her family, but at the end of the day, she's a forward. She started off with the forward. She still is a forward by blood. She's a part of this ownership that has been a mess for years on top of years on top of years. Lomas said it on the show. Just a minute ago, he said, talk about, Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, like, they made the decisions to get rid of Quandre Diggs, to get rid of Darius Slay, and you see how well those individuals have played. That's part of it. You let go good players. You consistently draft bad players. Here's another good question. Okay, then I was listening to somewhere and they were asking if Robert Saleh was still on deck and Dan Campbell, who would you choose? And obviously the answer is Robert Saleh. Just having seen what I've seen. But if he was offered this job, I don't think he would take it because New York's a bigger city. But then in retrospect to Dan Campbell having this job, how many people offered Dan Campbell the head coaching job of set franchise? How many people did the forwards interview? Like, how do you hire the guy? And this is no shot at Dan Campbell, but how do you hire the guy with
Sounds like it.
If it is a shot, if it's coming out that way, my apologies, but how do you hire the guy with least amount of experience? Like, nobody would have given Dan Campbell a job based off his measurables. And I know you say, well, there are a lot of first-time coaches, but those first-time coaches had coordinator experiences. They were experiences in good franchising, good times, whether they were coming from Super Bowls, Super Bowl championships, Super Bowl appearances. Like, that's how you get jobs with a resume. He's got a resume, but it's the resume of a tight end. It's a tight ends coach. It's the resume of, he knows this guy, he knows that guy. But that doesn't say anything about his mind as a coach, his mind as an offensive coordinator, his mind as a defensive coordinator. Who would have hired, this is a real question, who would have hired Dan Campbell if not the Lions? Like, how do you interview all your interviewees, and Dan Campbell's the guy that you say, hey, it's him, it's this guy? How?
Don't forget, we hired Rod Marinelli.
Yeah,
he was in the NFL for 73 years.
Defensive line coach, not even a coordinator.
But he was here for 73 years in the NFL.
I know.
And we're the only team to hire him and his shovel and his
I agree with that too. It's like, once again, out of everybody you interview, would Rod Marinelli got another job? No, because he hasn't got one since he's left here. Why do we make those hires?
It is incredible. It is a total organizational failure.
What is the process?
It is a total organizational failure. And one of the things that Dave Burkett said when we had him on last week, was it last week or Monday? I don't remember. Monday? Last week. Was you could be sitting here, if this thing goes the way it's going, with the 5th straight year of having a top 10 pick. You have got to get your quarterback at some point.
Oh, no, why? Why do that?
Exactly.
Why?
But again, if you do bring everybody back, you know what they're going to have the pressure to do? Win.
Yeah.
Win now. Win next year.
They're going to take Okuda's brother.
What will help you win next year? A defensive lineman, a linebacker, or a quarterback? Probably not the latter. Not some rookie quarterback that you're going in with. So that's how you stay bad quickly. Let me put up some mock drafts. First, we'll go with the Pro Football Focus mock draft because, look, this is just the time of year that we're doing it now. 2023 mock draft has the Lions picking the quarterback from Stanford with the 9th pick.
That was a couple of weeks ago. Let's get the next one up. Let's get the Yahoo one up.
Okay.
We definitely should be 9.
So Yahoo has the Lions selecting 3rd, Bryce Young.
The Raiders at 2?
Raiders at 2, Will Anderson, and at 1, the Carolina Panthers select C.J. Stroud. But look at that. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis going to Houston at 6. And, I guess that would be it. So 3 quarterbacks taken in the top 10
this is
of this draft.
We got another one from our own Anthony Colombo that we could pop up as well.
Here's Colombo's mock draft. He also has the Lions selecting Bryce Young 3rd overall. I don't know. I don't know about Bryce Young. But
what don't you know about Bryce Young? He won the Heisman Trophy last year. The drive.
Charlie Ward won the Heisman too.
But he didn't do it in the fashion in which
Tim Tebow won the Heisman.
But they don't do it in the fashion in which Bryce Young do it in. Bryce Young can do it from the pocket. Bryce Young can do it from outside the pocket. Bryce Young only runs if he has to. You look at that Auburn game last year. They were about to lose. He had to go 91 yards. Not only did he go 91 yards, he went 91 yards, scored a touchdown.
Who would you say his comp would be?
He beat George. You said in the NFL?
Yeah.
He's a mix between, because he's short as well. He's a mix between Kyler and Russell. He's the best parts of both of them. Because he's faster than Russell, not faster than Kyler. He can throw better than Russell. His arm is strong. His arm is more consistently strong than both of those guys put together. That's what I would say he is.
That's a pretty good comp.
Kyler's already hit the wall.
100%. But he's playing behind some guys. If you look at the game film on Bryce Young, he's a guy that gets it done. When they win, it's because of him every time. Before you look at quarterbacks at Alabama, you can look at A.J. McCarron and Greg McElroy and Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa to a certain extent. Like, they were winning because everybody on the outside is amazing. But when you see Bryce Young go out there and throw for 455 and almost beat a Tennessee team that's clearly better than Alabama, but they almost beat because Bryce Young had 455 in the national championship game. Georgia was better than Alabama, but once again, Alabama almost beat Georgia because of Bryce Young. So I think he is the number one quarterback in this draft. Even though Hendon Hooker's playing amazing, I think it's still Bryce Young.
I don't know if I take Hendon Hooker in this draft, and I'll tell you why. And I am the president of the Hendon Hooker fan club.
You definitely.
He's already 24.
That's the thing. He's going to be 25 his rookie year. You're essentially losing 4 or 5 years with a guy because of his age. I mean, does that affect you wanting to take someone? I think it does too.
It does to me.
I think it does too. I'd rather a 21-year-old Bryce Young than a 25-year-old
Hendon
Hooker.
But, with that being aside, yes, because I want Bryce Young anyway, but let's substitute the next 21-year-old quarterback or 20-year-old quarterback. Doesn't Hendon Hooker being 24, 25 at his first snap in the NFL, doesn't that help? Because a lot of the part of the issue is dealing with quarterbacks that have to do what?
Yeah.
Mature. If this guy is 25 and already gets it by the time he takes his first snap, does that kind of eliminate some of that growing pains process?
Yeah, and look, Will Levis is the same way. Will Levis is 23. He's going to be 24 next year.
Is that the Kentucky kid?
Yeah.
He's built, man.
I know. But again, because of that COVID year and transfer portal, 2 of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this NFL draft are guys that are older.
But it's the quarterback position. It's not the running back position. If you were telling me that the running back was 25, then I definitely would agree with you.
Sure, that's a good point.
That means he's gotten extra years of getting hit, extra years running back. That shelf life happens quick. But at the quarterback position, I think it is the one position that is not the one, but the most cerebral, the most the level of maturity has to be in play for you to have the best success. I think that actually could be a help. Now, if you were sitting there telling me he was the same age as Chris Winkie, because Chris Winkie got drafted at 28, then I would be all aboard and I'd say, hell no.
You don't got to worry anyway. They're not going to take a quarterback. Don't worry about it. They're going to take another injured tight end.
They don't need a quarterback.